3 months ago, I felt stuck. My bills kept growing, prices were rising, and no matter how hard I worked, I never had enough money left at the end of the month. I was tired of always feeling behind. Saving felt impossible. One night, I came across a story about how people survived the Great Depression in the 1930s. They didn't have credit cards, delivery apps, or side hustles. Yet, somehow, they managed to raise families, stay fed, and keep going, even with almost nothing. That gave me an idea. What if I lived like it was the 1930s for 90 days? Not just spending less, but thinking, eating, and working like people did back then. Could I actually get ahead by going backwards? So I set a challenge. No modern luxuries. No online shopping. Every dollar had to be spent with care, just like someone in the 1930s would do. I expected to save a little money. What I didn't expect was to feel richer than I ever had before. This is the story of how 90 days of Depression-era living changed my bank account, my habits, and my entire view of what it means to be rich. Number 1. Depression era, thinking versus modern spending mindset. The first thing I had to change wasn't my bank account. It was my mindset. People in the 1930s thought about money very differently than we do today. Back then, every penny mattered. They didn't buy things just because they were on sale or trending. They asked, do I really need this to survive? Can I make it myself? Can I trade for it? Today, it's the opposite. We spend without thinking. One-click shopping, ads on every screen, and by now, pay later makes it easy to spend money we don't have on things we don't really need. I used to ask myself, can I afford this? Now, I started asking, can I live without this? At first, it felt strange. Saying no to takeout or skipping the latest gadget made me feel like I was missing out. But slowly, something changed. The more I said no, the more I realized I didn't actually need most of it. I began to feel in control, not poor. Instead of chasing more, I started focusing on making the most of what I already had. I fixed things instead of replacing them. I used up every last bit of food. I found joy in being resourceful. This shift in thinking was the start of everything. Once I stopped spending without purpose, I began saving with power. The truth is, frugal people aren't cheap. They're smart. And in the 1930s, smart living was the only way to survive. Number 2. The No Spend Grid, a tool I invented based on 1930s logic. During the second week of my challenge, I noticed something. I was wasting a lot of energy just deciding what to spend money on. Every time I wanted something, a snack, a shirt, a new app, I had to stop and think. It was tiring. So I created a simple tool to help me, the No Spend Grid. It was based on how people in the 1930s made choices. I made a chart with 3 boxes: needs, buy, or keep. These were things I couldn't live without: rent, basic groceries, electricity, bus fare. Wants, delay for 30 days. These were nice-to-have things: a new hoodie, a coffee from the shop, takeout dinner. I didn't say no forever. I just waited a month. Most of the time, I stopped wanting it. Luxuries, cut, or DIY. These were things that weren't needed at all, like beauty boxes, streaming subscriptions, new gadgets. I either found a free version or went without. Every time I wanted to buy something, I used the grid. I kept it on my phone and on my fridge. It took the stress out of money decisions. And it worked. In just 1 month, I saved $937 without feeling poor or bored. Instead of spending $60 on dinner, I made pasta at home and used the extra money to pay off a credit card. Instead of buying a new desk, I fixed my old one with a $4 wood glue. The No Spend Grid didn't just save me money. It gave me confidence. I wasn't just avoiding spending. I was learning how to make smarter choices. People in the 1930s lived like this every day. And once I tried it, I saw why it works. Number 3. The 1930s side hustle hacks. When I started this challenge, I thought frugal living was just about cutting back. But as I read more about how people survived the 1930s, I noticed something else. They didn't just save money, they found new ways to earn it. People back then didn't call it a side hustle, but that's exactly what they were doing. A factory worker would fix shoes at night. A stay-at-home mom might sell homemade soap or sew for neighbors. Teenagers would run errands, deliver newspapers, or collect scrap metal for cash or trade. I decided to bring that mindset into today's world. Instead of looking for a big job or startup idea, I looked for small things I could do with my own hands and a little time. I started by offering to clean up old laptops and phones for people who didn't know how to reset or organize them. I charged $25 for something that took me an hour. Then I offered to walk dogs for a neighbor. Later, I helped someone post items for sale online in exchange for a small cut. None of these jobs made a ton of money on their own, but over 90 days, they added up to $2,112. I didn't use fancy apps or create a website. I just asked people around me, posted in local groups, and traded skills where I could. What I learned is this: you don't need to be an expert to earn more. You just need to notice what people need and be willing to help. That's what people did in the 1930s. They looked around, used what they had, and found value in simple, everyday skills. And in today's world, those small efforts still go a long way. Number 4. The invisible dinner party method. One of the most creative things I tried during this challenge was something I called the invisible dinner party. It was based on a simple idea from the 1930s, sharing food. Back then, families often cooked large meals and shared with neighbors. People helped each other stretch their groceries by trading what they had. I thought, why not try that now, but in a modern way? So I reached out to 2 friends who were also trying to save money. We made a deal. Once a week, each of us would cook a big dinner, something simple, healthy, and homemade. Then we'd pack it up in containers and drop it off at each other's homes. No eating together, no big gathering, just a quiet trade. That's why I called it invisible. The result was amazing. I cooked once, but got 3 different meals each week. It made meal planning easier, saved me time, and cut my grocery bill by almost 60%. Plus, it brought variety and fun back into eating at home. This little habit made me feel connected and supported, even without sitting around a table. It was cheap, smart, and surprisingly joyful, just like a lot of things from the 1930s. Number 5. Downsizing without moving. Room zoning. In the 1930s, most families lived in small homes, often with just a few rooms. They used every space for more than one purpose. A kitchen was also a place to eat, work, and sometimes sleep. That got me thinking, what if I downsized without actually moving? I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and before the challenge, I used all the space all the time. But I realized I didn't need to. So I tried something new. I shut the door to one room and stopped using it. Then I turned my main living area into a zone for everything: working, exercising, relaxing, and eating. I called this idea room zoning. By only heating and cooling one space, I saved about $122 in energy bills over the 3 months. I also started using less light, unplugging things I didn't use, and paying more attention to what actually made me comfortable. Surprisingly, the smaller space made me feel calmer. I had less clutter, fewer distractions, and more focus. I didn't need more room. I just needed to use the space I had in a smarter way. Just like families did during hard times in the past, I learned that less space can actually lead to more peace. Number 6. My net worth after 90 days. By the numbers. After 90 days of living with 1930s habits, I sat down and added up everything. I was shocked, in a good way. First, I had saved $2,728 just by spending less. That came from cooking at home, using the no-spend grid, and cutting out things I didn't truly need. Next, I made $2,112 from small side jobs, using the 1930s hustle mindset. These weren't big jobs, but together they made a real difference. For the first time in my life, I had extra money I didn't need to touch right away. So I opened a simple investment account and put in $1,500. I chose a balanced fund, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, low risk, easy to manage. I also started an emergency fund. I put aside enough to cover about 1.5 months of basic bills. Before this challenge, my net worth was almost zero. I had no savings, no investments, and a credit card balance that kept growing. After just 90 days, my net worth had increased by over $4,800, and my mindset had changed even more. It wasn't magic. It was small, smart choices made every day. The 1930s didn't give me wealth overnight, but they gave me the tools to build it. What I'm keeping for life. Even though the 90-day challenge is over, many of the habits I learned are now part of my life. I still use my no-spend grid to make better choices. I keep doing small side jobs when I have extra time. Most of all, I've kept the 1930s mindset, using what I have, being creative, and thinking before spending. These habits made me feel more in control, less stressed, and more thankful for what I already own. I'm not going back, because this is forward. Now, if you want to learn how to achieve financial success, then watch this video next. If you made it to this point in the video, please like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.